One does not simply win in GAC. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we're going to talk about the best 5v5 defensive teams as a precursor to the upcoming 5v5 season. At the same time as this video is being released, I also have a best 5v5 offensive teams video, and the two are linked. We talk about them both on both channels, really, or on both videos, and there's going to be a link in the video description to go see that, or there will be a link at the end of this video that you could just click on if you want to go the more lazy and awesome route. And speaking of awesome route, thank you guys so much to all my patrons. You are amazing, and I truly appreciate everything about you guys. And if you want to support this channel for free, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, mount, subscribe, comment. It's fun, guys. Come for the dad jokes, stay for the mounting. That sounds a little sketch, I won't lie. Let's get to the actual footage. Oh, that's not it, guys. That's not what this isn't where I parked my there we go. Madness. This is where I parked my car. Okay, cool. So what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? This is on my middle account because, I mean, even though it's 10 million GPA, we don't spend a lot of money on it, and hopefully you'll find most of the teams kind of approachable. We have 6, so we've kind of ballooned this account out quite a bit. We have 6 Galactic Legends now, and at some point, we're going to need a different example, because I know that some people are going to say, I don't have all these characters geared and stuff, and I get that. So I'll be putting out a video tomorrow at some point about 5v5 comps on my smallest account, which is now like 7 million, so it's still not the most approachable, but hopefully a little more approachable than this. So stay tuned for that. I always put that out the day after these ones. And anyways, the meta, guys, the thing that we're going to be constantly referring to, of course, are datacrons, and just because they kind of just drive the meta these days. And so we have the boss one that's going to supercharge the Jawa team to beat Leia, which Leia has the Drogon Cron, which makes that team really strong. And then we also have the Afra Cron, which makes Afra an offensive juggernaut. She also does okay on defense, but mostly on offense. And then we also have the No Revive from Scoundrel Kills Cron, which is on level 6, and it goes with Cat. It goes with a few different characters, but Cat is the most notable one because she'll auto-kill Kersantin or potentially Reva, and so we're kind of operating with the assumption that our opponents are going to be doing some pretty messed up stuff to our characters and not letting them revive. Similarly, they're going to be able to, if you can get a chance to one-shot Ben Solo, he can't come back with the auto-kill. And so on defense, however, we do still want Rey to be on defense. This account that I'm using right now has a Gear 1 Barriss. I would say Barriss is a better choice than Holdo if you have Barriss. I don't have her. So, it's always like, always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then be Batman. I mean, obviously, guys, obvious words. So we've got Rey on defense, put that 200% datacron on her, defensive datacron. That's really strong if you have one. If you don't, then, I mean, there's a few other good Ufu-crons out there. You can note that I put the 3rd Omicron onto Ben so that he's hitting under protection. I boosted his speed a little bit. His offense is good. We got him Relic 6. He's going to be part of an upcoming video where we're talking about bulking our rosters up and good targets to target for that. So there is that. Rey on defense, I think that's pretty good. Oh, I also got our 5th Zeta, which is exciting. And now we have Leia on defense here, and we also have Kenobi. And here's the thing about it, folks. If you put people are going to struggle to. They're going to say, okay, my Jawa team is going to kill the heck out of Leia. Jawa is also going to do pretty well against Kenobi, and if you have that auto kill from Ahsoka, I mean, it's going to kill Kersantin, and maybe that'll scare people off from using Jawa. The thing about it is, if you put Kenobi up front, they're not going to expect you to put Leia down. They're going to just assume that you kept Leia for offense because Jawa kills you so easily, and in theory, at least, they might use their Jawa team to kill your Kenobi squad, and when they get to the back, they're not going to have the right team to kill Leia. Whether or not that's going to work is another question. Well, we also need to put some other good teams down. I mean, Rey is also going to be problematic for people. And so if we can kind of just layer our defenses, this is something I talk about sometimes, where we want to make it so that whatever we have in the back zone is going to mess with them because of what they spent in that front zone. And I think if we put Kenobi up front, they're not going to be able to counter that team very much with it. They're going to assume going into the match that we're going to keep Kenobi because Cat is so strong on offense. Now, this is a pretty big shift for me and for this account. I don't think I've ever put Kenobi on defense, maybe like 1 or 2 times total. But he's such a stalwart for me on offense. I just want to put him on defense and see if it messes with people's minds a little bit. We'll see how that goes. You can see that we have Padme here on the team. You don't necessarily need Padme for this to be a good defensive team. You probably want the other 4, but then you can find a different character. I mean, if you're splitting up your CLS team, a great target for that would be C-3PO. He's a wonderful character as a 5th on Kenobi. We just don't see it that often. So we have Leia. I have a Relic 5 Baze and Relic 5 Kenobi because if you want the best, I think people say the best team is Chewbacca and Han Solo as the 4th and 5th character on the Leia team. But if you don't have that, or if you don't want to split that team up, these 2 are probably the best. And honestly, like I was saying, if you did want to split the CLS team up, then you could put these 2, or you could swap these 2 out, put Han and Chewie down, and then you could put C-3PO with Kenobi. That's always an option. Then you will still have Chewpio and CLS to deal with, but CLS could go with like Starkiller or something. Now, this is the only reason I would ever put this team on defense, folks, of the Supreme Leader Kylo team, is because they have a really good datacon. Otherwise, it just kind of gets melted by a lot of stuff. And even still, like Jedi Master Luke doesn't care about defense. They can have 1200% defense with the stacking defense cron, but Jedi Master Luke kind of ignores that. So you kind of got to figure out exactly what you want to do. Probably keep that in the back zone so that when people one-shot you, they'll use their Jedi Master Luke on something else, not thinking that you have a Kylo team in the back. And Kylo is extremely disruptive to people, guys. He's really tough, and he's not needed in 5s to counter a really, really strong team. I mean, can he be used that way? Sure, absolutely. Is he absolutely required? Not really. He can be used as a solid defensive team given the correct opportunity, which he is kind of being given that. Now, I talked about this in my offensive teams video, guys. If you don't have Maul available, so I'm keeping my Lord Vader team, and I'm keeping Maul for offense, so you can put Maul on this team instead of Crew, and then you kill all of the different Rey teams out there. Now, if you don't want to do that for whatever reason, you don't have Maul available, you don't want to risk it for the biscuit with Lord Vader, then this team on defense is pretty good. Now, I know that Crew, we're kind of double dipping with the Malagous team or with Supreme Leader Kylo. Crew is probably... He ends up being, he's just such a good character lately. He's one of those characters, he's just very in demand right now. But he goes really well with this team on defense. It messes with people, they don't really know what to do. And, Malagous is just throwing rocks, he's casting aspersions at them. And Crew is just stopping them from doing anything to your Malagous. It's a wonderful thing. This team is very strong on defense. I don't like it on defense. This account doesn't have Lord Vader, so we just need... I wanted Maul to... I have Maul available to go with this team, so this is just an option, guys. If you don't have Maul, for whatever reason, this is a good team for defense. Now, here's a weird comp, guys. Here's a weird split. It's going to mess with you a little. So you want this in the front zone. You want Malagous lead, and it's the standard Malagous team, except one of either Sith Marauder or Sith Assassin swaps out for Darth Revan. It's a crazy, crazy world. You want to put that in the front. People will still kill your Malagous team. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do against this team. I guess I'll do the same thing I've always done and just use this still really strong team. And that's fine. You can use Cal, they'll one-shot you. And you'll be like, dang it, didn't get a hold. People use General Skywalker. They drop like 10 banners doing it. It's pretty cool. And then they get to the back. We have Savage lead, which is so weird. But the thing is, Traya lead is good, but it gives you like some extra health and crit avoid, but people are going to crit you anyways. And the extra health doesn't really do a whole lot. What Savage lead does, it's pretty simple, folks. This is back from the day of simple leaderships, that just everyone gains 75% defense, and not that the tenacity really matters that much, but I mean, the defense is pretty tangible, guys, especially if you have a few relic levels on this team. And obviously you want the Omicron on Savage for this to work, but then you put Darth Revan on here, and you put it in the back, and people aren't expecting this team at all, and they've already used their Malagous counter that counters a lot of other Sith, and this Savage lead team with Traya, Nihilus, and Revan seems really expensive, but in reality, it's still just 2 teams total. One of them's just weaker, and one of them's stronger, and this is going to mess with people in the back zone. So let me know if this works for you guys. It worked for me, even in the top levels of 5v5 Kyber 1 on my main account, so I'm guessing it'll work for you. Of course, you still probably want relic levels and gear level, you know, all this stuff, good mods. But I think this is going to be a pretty decent trapping situation, guys. I mean, obviously I'm putting myself out there and showing it to you. I think it's going to work, honestly. Now, here's another thing I'm going to be doing, probably just in the front zone on the bottom, just to mess with people. I don't have a great use case for Mace right now, and so what I'm going to be doing with Mace is just throwing him on the Qui-Gon team and having them all hang out, well, they don't get a datacon, hang out with my Gear 11, no Zetas, Keller and Beck. I need to put Zetas on him. I don't have them available. You can see there's not even a red dot over his face. What are we at? We're kind of close. Maybe I'll be able to get one before GAC lock. Maybe I'll just save it for Sith Eternal as well. I don't know. But one way or another, I want to see what this does, because Keller and Beck will start with, well, I don't know what he's going to start with if you don't get his Zeta. That's a lot of text. We're not going to look at it, but you can look at it on your own time. He's going to get a lot of cool stuff with all of this, with his unique and his other stuff. I'm guessing it's going to work. My main account has him at Relic 8 right now, so we'll see how that team does there. Very interested to see. Obviously, my main account has him at 140k protection at gear at Relic 8, and this guy's at like 80k less protection. So I don't know if he's probably not going to hit that hard. Maybe won't survive that easily either, but one way or another, you still want your Qui-Gon, Anakin, and Ki-Adi-Mundi to be pretty dang quick. Remember, Ki-Adi-Mundi is plus 80 speed because of his stance, so he's actually fairly quick. Anakin is going to be plus 60, and then Qui-Gon is going to be plus 60, and they're all pretty quick. In the past, you wanted to be faster than your opponent's Bad Batch Echo, because otherwise their entire Bad Batch team is going to just sweep you up. I think Beck a little bit protects you from that, in fact, folks, because every time something happens to you, I think you probably do need the Zeta for it, but one way or another, whenever things happen to your characters, in the case, like if they do healing immunity, then you get protection up. You get all this cool stuff that kind of counters what Bad Batch are trying to do. I'm curious to see if that actually holds up. 3-star Keller and Beck, I am absolutely doing it on this account, and I'm right on the edge of Kyber 1. We're in a place where I think we're going to be able to beat some good players, even with a subpar Keller and Beck. So hold on to your butts on that one. I put General Skywalker on defense, even though I know there's a lot of counters for him. People use CLS. People do a lot of stuff. The thing is, General Skywalker is a mess on offense. You can keep him for offense. He just never gets good banners, guys. That's not his thing. Like if there was a questionnaire he had to answer for anything, that they were like, hey, do you ever get good banners? Has that ever been a thing that you, like, one time somehow you got good banners? He'd have to just check no. He'd be like, nope, that's actually not a thing for me. I don't get good banners, and I get it. I get it, man. Me neither. But one way or another, this team is good on defense because they also steal banners. They mess with people. People overuse their teams, or they'll use a CLS team. That's fine. That's fine if they want to do that. You just want to. I like gambling with this team, guys, because if your opponent puts CLS on defense, then they don't have a really easy way to counter General Skywalker. And it's going to mess with them in a big way. They're probably going to use a Galactic Legend, and if you're trapping the way you probably should be with your Galactic Legends, then General Skywalker might just claim a few lives, hopefully. Hopefully. So, CLS on defense, we talked about this, so put it on the offense video as well. It's a good squad, folks, on offense or defense. Right now it has a good Rebel Cron, and then next season they'll transition over to using a Scoundrel Cron that is also rather good for them. Now, we have this trench team on defense, and I'm kind of regretting that a little bit because we need WAD available for offense for my Maul team. Not Maul, actually, for my Troopers team, but so we might need to switch that a little bit, or at least you guys will see it, but one way or another, the trench team with WA is very strong on offense and defense. It can't be wamped. It's not an easy team to counter. They do a lot of cool stuff. Trench isn't the most important, amazing character ever, but he does hold his own if you give him the kind of quote-unquote intended team that CG wants you to use. I'm not saying that they should prescribe things like that, but the prescribed team doesn't totally suck, at the very least. Now, we have Ewoks. Mine are pretty hopeless, guys. I make no apologies. They're not that good. Because I want to put resources on other teams and characters. I do have an Omicron on Chirpa, which is pretty sad. I would remove it if I could, but one way or another, guys, if you have the Omicron on Chirpa, if you can make your Peplu really fast, like if you can make him somewhere over 400 speed after he gets his plus 25% bonus and his plus 30 speed from Chirpa, so he can't get 400 without those boosts, but if you can get him to that point, people can't use Troopers to counter your Ewoks, and it suddenly gets a lot more difficult to be able to counter Ewoks. So I might be trying that on my main account because I do have the Nisacron on that account as well. And then finally, this kind of kills me to do this, guys. I needed a couple more defensive teams, and honestly, last season this is what I did too. Put Dash on defense with Vandor and Hondo, get the pre-taunt with IG and Queel, and you get holds, guys. I got a few holds last season, the final week. We finally did it. Swapped out. I forget what team it was, but they do fine on defense. I love Hondo. Keep working on. I have a video that just keeps being delayed because of other new important things to be putting out videos for, but he's a really fun character, guys, and it's a really worthwhile team on offense. It's also pretty worthwhile on defense, especially if you have a pretty fast Dash Rendar. Now, let's go look at my kind of quote-unquote advanced teams for 5v5 on my main account, and I'll get you guys out of here. Whoa, we're on my main account now with more GP, and okay, so more advanced teams that my little account doesn't really have available, or my little account. So I do have this Zori team, and I have the double Omicron. You put Rose on this team, and I think that on defense I like the OG Poe. I know that he doesn't have that high relics yet. Maybe we'll do that at some point. I bet he has terrible mods as well. Yeah, don't pay no attention to that man with terrible mods. But I think one of the biggest things, guys, remember, Zori gives plus 35 speed. You want Resistance Hero Finn to be kind of fast. I know this isn't the fastest one out there, but plus 35 on him is going to get him over 380, which is going to make you faster than a lot of different teams out there. And with the Rose Omicron especially, this is you want to get him a turn so that you start the turn meter and train, and this team just kind of doesn't stop. But I really, after playing this team with a slow Resistance Hero Finn and then switching to a really fast one and then not touching the other mods at all on the team, what I've discovered is you get a lot more holds with a fast Finn. That's just, the faster he is, the more holds you're going to get. So I don't know how the Omicron on Rose is going to be. I just applied that. It's one of my most recent ones. I applied that one, and I applied one on Beck on this account as well. We'll see how that one goes with his Relic 8-ness. It'll be interesting. Now, we do have Tuskens. Remember, there's a really cool Tusken Kron out there right now and makes this team really strong. The Tusken, none of the Omicrons are effective in 5v5, but this team is good on offense, guys. They still kill a lot of teams that are turn meter based, and they will lay waste to teams as long as it doesn't have Anakin. Anakin will destroy them because he thinks they're animals. I disagreed, but you know. Yeah, I disagreed quietly because you don't want to disagree too loudly with Anakin. Now, we're going to see this team. I don't know if this is going to be a thing, if it's going to be good or not, guys. So you want Ben with Rey as always, but then as long as there's Scavenger, there's a Jawa Kron out there that makes this team. I want to see how this team does. I don't know if I'm going to place it on defense or not. I don't know if I have the nuts to do it, but it's seems like a good team, frankly. If you have the right Kron and everything, and people are saying that maybe General Skywalker just beats it really easily, beats it like a rug. Maybe it does, but we're going to see this out there in the wild. I don't know if it'll be this exact build. For sure, Jawa Scavenger, and then two others. I think the other two best Jawas are pretty undisputedly Nebbit and Engineer, but I could be wrong. You can dispute it, guys. Let me know in the comments. Now, if you put high tenacity on these characters, it's tough, man. Putting 170 tenacity on Gar Saxon is tough. I mean, I tried a little bit. You get up to under 52 fairly easily. Another 20 tenacity is going to be tough unless I 6E everything and upgrade those mods. I don't know if it's worth it. And I haven't even tried yet on Super Commando. So, that being said, if you can do that, then this team is going to just a two-man a lot of stuff. I mean, it'll kill a General Skywalker team, in fact. It does a lot of cool stuff because they counter a lot. Because of the rework on Imperial Super Commando, you can do a lot of neat stuff with just the two of them. And I will be putting tenacity mods on both, and we'll roll the dice, guys. We'll see if we can kill something with them. Now, a Pets team, I don't know. They're all leftover. I don't know if I'm going to use this. This might just be an offensive team, honestly, guys. But there are a lot of scoundrels on Wookiee team. Like a lot of these pets are scoundrels as well. They don't like the law. They like they're bad dogs essentially. And so we'll see how this team goes. You know, Veteran Han. I probably need to place him later on the roster than Smuggler Chewie, so that he's actually counting as a Wookiee. But this team, with a Relic Tarful and Zalbar, this team does a lot of good, even without very good supporting cast. Honestly, I've been way more impressed with Wookiees than I thought. Similarly, I'm very impressed with Saw. I don't know if I'm going to run this team too much, guys, but this is one of the teams I got stuck on 1 or 2 5v5s ago. It's been around for a while now. You get the Omicron on Saw, and then with Cara Dune, and I mean, there's a Rebel Kron out there now. If you can spare Baze Malbus, I mean, he's going to be with Leia for a while for me, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But you know, use Baze, use Chirrut. This team just defends so well, guys. It is so tough to kill this team, and you underestimate it at your own peril. Now, it does tear apart your Mon Mothma team. It tears apart potentially your Leia team with Baze. If you have a Sana team, then Cara Dune, she can't be there, etc. So there's characters from all these different teams, but it also gets more holds than I would have thought. And then finally, I don't think this team, I think this remnant team is just gonna get murdered by like Night Sisters pretty easily, and so it's probably gonna be an offensive team. But right now with the Scout Kron, it's killing Jabba squads. So I mean, everything's killing Jabba squads, but it seems like it's going to be a decent team moving forward, especially when we get the next Datacron set, and there's inevitably going to be an Imperial Remnants Datacron to make everyone feel happy about having wasted all their time playing Conquest. Anyways, what are some teams that you're thinking of this season? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on 5v5 and on the new year. Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you all for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. Take care, everyone.